Hey folks, Sunday night was the second installment of performances at the judges' homes on the X Factor. Raise your hand if you really believe that these are the judges' homes. If they really live in these houses. Now, I don't doubt that they live in nice, pristine homes, but I think more than likely these are rental properties just for show. Maybe if the ratings don't improve next season, we might see the contestants perform at the judges' trailer homes. Wouldn't that be interesting? I don't know, I've enjoyed these episodes, but something about it feels less than authentic to me. A little bit corny. I know that it works out well on the UK version of the X Factor, but I think Simon needs to be a little bit more careful here, because the difference is there is really no competition, and there's no direct competition here, but there's no idol over there, so I think I'm not one of those people that believe that X Factor is going to ruin American Idol or American Idol is going to ruin X Factor, but I believe there are some people that might tune in and say, this show is corny, I'll just wait for Idol to start. So I think Simon needs to be really careful about that, not to mention the fact that a lot of these performances felt cleaned up in the studio and sometimes even lip-synced, so I think he needs to be really careful and try to come up with something more authentic next season, because it reminds me of the American Idol episodes where they choose the top 24. It always felt more real when it's in like even a hotel when the contestants ride up in the elevator than when they did it from the judge's mansion, which I always thought was stupid. Anyway, the first performance we saw was from Jazzlyn Little performing for Simon Cowell. Poor Jazzlyn was once again scared to death and felt like her throat was closing up. Somebody needs to get this girl some nerve medication pronto, because at first her nervousness was kind of endearing, but I don't know, now it's starting to make me kind of nervous. I'm really starting to get the feeling that if she does make it to the live shows, the competition will just chew her up and spit her out all over the stage, and I would really hate to see that happen, because I really do like Jazzlyn. Anyway, Simon had her singing a dulled-down version of I Will Survive, and it was pleasant enough, but I thought the arrangement kind of sucked the life out of that song, you know? I don't know what it is with these arrangements, but I thought it was really ironic how the song started out. I was afraid, I was petrified. Indeed she was. She looked like she was staring down the throat of a grizzly bear. Of course, she eased up some by the end of the song, but it was still a little boring for me. Not nearly as good as her initial audition. And Simon Cowell didn't seem too impressed either. One of his minions said that it was like a high school talent show, and sadly it kind of was. If the whole point is to get better and better each week, then it's probably over for poor Jazzlyn. Next up is Brennin Hunt for singing for L.A. Reid and Rihanna. Brennin doesn't know if any of the other contestants feel the same way about the competition as he does, since they haven't experienced life like he has at the ripe old age of 26. 26? Jeez, he's getting right up there with Leroy Bell, isn't he? Brennin wants to be bigger than Lady Gaga, which actually wouldn't be that hard because she's a very tiny person, but he also wants to be the biggest superstar on the planet. And when he's dead and gone, he wants people to remember his name, his songs, his legacy, all that. Try taking baby steps, Brennin. How's about working on it, getting a hit single out there before you worry about becoming the Elvis of your generation? Anyway, LA chose Like a Star for Brennin to sing. Very boring song choice. But Brennin did a really good job with it. Rihanna thinks he's beautiful, and I agree with that, but she thinks it was kind of corny, like a 90s boy band. Personally, I would like to see Brennin make it, if for no other reason than he's fun to look at. But once again, his Twitter tweets do not sound like somebody that's excited about the future. They sound like the bitter rants of a severed contestant, so I'm about 98% sure that he's not going to make it to the live shows. Next singing for Paula and Pharrell was a stereo Hoggz. Now, they call themselves that because they want to hog the stereo and be on every radio station. They really enjoyed visiting Paula's house because she has nice grass and trees. Y'all leave Paula's grass alone. Well, you know, apparently they don't have nice grass where they live. Well, you know, I guess it's true because the stuff they have in the inner cities is just like crap, isn't it? And nothing like what they have out there in California, especially at Abdul's house. I imagine she's got some of the best grass around. Anyway, no wonder they were rolling around in it. Anyway, Paula chose I Heard It Through the Grapevine for them. Another boring song choice, but I thought the lead singer did a pretty good job with it. Maybe he should have tried out for this thing solo, because then he wouldn't have to risk like splitting the prize with his backup dancers, because they really didn't sing that much, and hell, you can get twice as many backup dancers for a fraction of the cost that you'd have to pay these guys. Paula and Pharrell seemed to enjoy it. Paula even went wacky there for a minute and started attacking Pharrell. Must be the grass. Next singing for Nicole and Enrique was burrito slinger Josh Krajcik, who still looks like somebody's been slinging burritos at him. And the bugs must have smelled burritos on him too. Did y'all notice how they were like swarming him during his performance? Ew. Anyway, Josh wants to win so he can provide better for his 13-year-old daughter. 13? Boy, he started spawning early, didn't he? He's only 30. He must have started as a teenager. Anyway, he's saying, first time ever I saw your face, and to my surprise, I actually liked it. I really wasn't expecting to, since I wasn't crazy about his other performances that were just so rough and gruff. But this one was pretty soft and simple, and he didn't bark it out, so I thought it was nice. I think he's a lock for the live shows anyway. Hopefully he'll take a shower before then. Next is girl group 2 Squar'd. Now when it first showed them, they were riding around in a golf cart, and one of the girls hollered out, "How much do you trust your driver?" And let me tell you, my heart just skipped a beat. I had to watch it back, because the first time around I thought she said, "How much do you trust your vagina?" I mean, I was just shocked. I thought, what a bold question. I actually don't trust mine as far as I can throw it, but that's actually not very far considering the fact that I don't have one. But that's actually not what she said, so it was okay. Anyway, Paula chose Bohemian Rhapsody for the girls. Paula Abdul's wacky mismatched song choice number 75. Get used to it, groups, because I think Paula just like puts her iPod on shuffle and just gives the contestants whatever comes up next. I didn't really like this performance. It seemed kind of sloppy, and the lead singer, she didn't sound as good as the backup singer, so I thought they should have like put her in the background maybe. The white girl, she didn't sound as good as the other girls, but none of them really sounded good together anyway. Paula and Pharrell weren't impressed either, so I don't think they stand much of a chance. Next, back to the boys, 30-year-old Tim Cifer. How is it that Tim is the same age as Josh Krajcik, but he's in the boys category and Josh is in the over 30s? I don't understand that. Anyway, Josh wants to teach his son how to hunt and fish. Guess what, buddy? You don't need a $5 million recording contract to do that. You can do that now. Though you'd probably be doing your son a favor if you left out the fishing part. I've never been hunting, so I can't really speak to that, but I have never understood why fathers and sons use, like, fishing for quality time. I've been fishing exactly one time in my life, and it was the single most boring experience I've ever had in my life, so I don't get it. But anywho, Tim sang Dance With My Father, I guess to show the father-son aspect of it. I don't know. I thought it was just okay. I wasn't jumping out of my seat. Rihanna and LA seemed to like it, even though LA wanted more. I think Tim stands a decent chance of making it to the live show since he's like the only country singer, and LA might want to put some variety in there, but I don't think a country singer is going to win the X Factor, especially a country singer from North Carolina. Wouldn't it be funny if he did win, though? Simon has spent like the better part of the summer making fun of Scotty McCreery, if you may have seen that on YouTube. But wouldn't it be funny to have the first X Factor winner be an older, less marketable carbon copy of the last Idol winner? Simon Cowell's head would explode. Next, back to Simon's house with little Rachel Crow. Will somebody please get this girl a bathroom already? I'm sick of hearing her talk about it. We really didn't learn anything new about Rachel, but of course at her age, there's not going to be a whole lot new to learn. Anyway, Rachel sang a slowed down version of the Backstreet Boys' I Want It That Way. What in the hell is up with these terrible song arrangements? It's like they're consistently taking otherwise decent songs and slowing them down to the point that they almost feel gloomy, like being at a funeral. I feel like I'm watching this show in slow motion. Anyway, Rachel did a great job with this song, although the faces that she makes a lot of times when she sings come across more angry than I think she really needs to be as a child. You know, she shouldn't have anything to be angry about. Still, you know, there's not an ounce of doubt in my mind that Rachel is going to make it to the live shows, with that, which I think spells trouble for Drew Rhinoceros, because I would be really shocked if Simon put through 2 of the young girls. I'm sure he'll put 1 through for no other reason than to justify having such a lower age limit, but I don't think 2 are going to make it, and I think Rachel will make it. Next, back to Nicole's house with the age-defying Leroy Bell, who has been pretending to be in his 40s since he was in his 40s, and he's 60 now. Well, he does hide his age well, but I don't really think he looks that young. You know, if he took that thing off his head and took them glasses off, I don't know. He might look like Cliff Huxtable's father. Anyway, for Leroy, Nicole chose To Make You Feel My Love. Nicole, hey, here's an idea. Try picking a song for Leroy that we didn't hear him sing last week. I mean, he sounded fantastic once again, but it just felt like, what's the point? We heard him sing this song last week, and so it's not his fault that it wasn't really impressive to me. It's Nicole's fault. I mean, seriously, why would you choose a song this early in the competition that we've already heard him sing? You know, I was hoping for something more upbeat, because at this point, these soft, pleasant songs are all that we've heard from him. And so I don't know if he can do anything more. I don't know if he can come out of his shell. But I think he stands a pretty good chance at the live shows. And there's also a good chance that Nicole will make him sing this song for a 3rd time. I sure hope not. That she doesn't make him sing it again. I don't care if he makes it to live shows. I kind of would like to see him, to see if there's anything more that he could do. Anyway, next is group Illusion Confusion at Paula's house. And if any of you say that this is your favorite group, you'd be a damn liar. None of us have seen or heard enough from these guys to make that judgment. It feels like we've been playing peekaboo with these boys for like weeks now. We've seen them a few times for like a nanosecond at a time, and last night was no different. Paula chose Let's Dance for them, and we got to hear like 8 seconds of it in between interviews, so I think it's pretty safe to say we will not be seeing them on the live shows. Next, back to Nicole's house with Teddy Bear Budbill. Tiger Budbill. Seems more like a teddy bear though, don't he? Not a very ferocious tiger. Poor thing damn near had a meltdown describing what he'd do with the $5 million. You know, he'd buy a house for his wife and kids, maybe have another baby. He said his mom is 83 and she'd be perfectly happy spending the rest of her life sitting on his fantasy deck and looking at the view. Doesn't have a very long bucket list, does she? Give the poor old woman some bingo money at least. I mean, jeez. Anyway, Tiger sang Don't Give Up on Me, and it was fantastic. I think this was easily the best that we've seen of Tiger Budbill. I just have a hard time seeing him as the winner. You know, he reminds me of that big burly type that we used to see on Idol damn near every season that would, you know, make it to the live shows, make it to the top 24 or whatever, maybe make it even as far as the top 10, but never really come close to winning. Everybody seems to like him, but you're never going to be anybody's favorite. So that's how he came across to me. I think Nicole loves him, so she'll be tempted to put him through, but even she's not convinced that there's a market for him. I don't know. Maybe if he keeps playing up the I lost everything to the recession aspect, maybe he can get all those Occupy Wall Street people to vote for him, if they can get off Wall Street long enough to watch TV. Next up is 20-year-old Marcus Canty from Maryland. Didn't y'all just love hearing Steve Jones say Maryland? Maryland. Anyway, Marcus was really happy to see Rihanna. She said, "Don't be flirting with me." But she kind of seemed to be flirting back with him, didn't she? Wouldn't they make a cute couple? I can't really blame Marcus, though, for trying to flirt with Rihanna. I mean, hell, Rihanna's so pretty, even I would be tempted to flirt with her, and I'm one of the gays. So anywho, LA had Marcus singing All My Life by Casey and JoJo. I used to love that song back when I was a teenager. Kind of seems old-fashioned now. I used to have that thing on cassette tape. Regardless, though, I thought it was a perfect song choice for Marcus. You know, we've already seen him do more upbeat stuff, so we know he can do that. And we know he can. Now we know he can kill the tender stuff too. So I thought it was great. There's no doubt in my mind that Marcus is going to be on the live shows, and I think he really is lucky to be working with LA and not Simon or Paula, because so many times over the years on Idol we've seen young black men like pigeonholed into the Luther category, and I think Reid will be able to help Marcus stay more contemporary and not get so old-fashioned. Next up at Simon's house is deli clerk Tiah Tolliver. Now, Tiah was really happy to be on Simon's team because really she knew the other judges would have tossed her to the wayside already. But Simon's been in love with her from day one. Still, though, even knowing that, Tiah was all nerves for her performance. The other girls felt sorry for her, except for Caitlin Cook. Ruh-roh, catfight. Caitlin said, "I don't feel bad for her. You have to perform whether you have mascara on or not." And while, you know, I kind of agree with her in theory, she had really better be careful about what she says when those cameras are rolling. And it doesn't matter if you're quiet about it, those cameras are always on and they can hear you from a mile away. And America just won't vote for you if they perceive you to be a bitch. And I think so Caitlin just took herself down a notch last night. Anyway, Tiah sang I Like the Way You Work It, and I thought it was just okay. I mean, she didn't sound awful, but these faces that she makes and this attitude that she performs with is really off-putting to me. I mean, it feels like she's still trying to impress the ladies, you know, Paula and Nicole. I don't know. I do think she stands a good chance at the live shows, though, if for no other reason than Simon's been singing her praises from day one, and if he cuts her now, he'd have to eat crow, and I don't think he's prepared to do that. Next, back to the over 30s was somebody we really haven't heard from, 31-year-old Krista Collins. For the life of me, I don't know why they haven't really shown her before. I thought she was fantastic. Now, she's a former Disney star and proclaims to have been the prototype for what launched Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, she sang No Surprises, and it was good. Not vocally perfect, which in her case I think actually made it more interesting. She kind of reminded me of somebody, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Enrique loved her, though. Nicole would have liked to see more emotion. What? How much more emotion do you want? I want to see more of this lady, so I hope she does make it. Next up is a group of 10, Intensity. I wonder whose bright idea this was to throw 10 kids in a group together. It's like they took every kid that made it to boot camp and didn't make it through as a single performer or as a duo or whatever, and just tossed them all in a group together. Maybe they didn't want to hurt their feelings by rejecting them. I don't know. Anyway, they sang up a mashup of That's Not My Name and You Make My Dreams Come True. And all things considered, I thought they did a great job with it. You know, they barely worked together. But I thought it was just kind of corny. You know, it just feels to me like with 10 people, it's just hard to make happen. Now, they did seem to give like kind of equal time to everybody, but I think the whole concept is just so corny. Even if by some chance they were to win, how in the hell do you market a group of 10? I just don't get it. Plus, like I've said before, people like to feel invested in the contestants, and it's already going to be tougher for the groups and damn near impossible for a group with 10 performers. Next up in the boys category is recovering addict Chris Rene singing Everyday People. Jeez, it sounded like he was in the group of 10. I could barely hear him. I think I probably would have enjoyed it if he hadn't been completely dissolved into the track. I couldn't hear a word he was saying, really. But I don't know. Chris has been kind of hit and miss for me, so I know a lot of people consider him to be like the front runner, but so often we see people like that are really popular in the early rounds, get to the live shows, and just tank. Take Andrew Garcia on season 9 of Idol, for instance. People called him the winner from the get-go, and then got to the live shows. So, I don't know. Lucky for him, though, he's working with L.A. Reid and Paula, so he's definitely going to be through the live shows. I have no doubt about that. L.A. and Rihanna loved him. And the last, of course, of the night was my personal favorite, Melanie Amaro. Simon chose for her Michael Jackson's Will You Be There, and usually I hate it when people sing a Michael Jackson song. That's my favorite Michael Jackson song, by the way, because 9 times out of 10, it only proves how inferior they are, but I thought Melanie killed it. I loved her version of this song. With the exception of Michael Jackson's, I thought that this is the best that we've ever heard this song. Much better than when Jennifer Hudson sang it at Michael Jackson's funeral. That was just horrid. But without a doubt, Melanie deserves her spot in the live shows. Her voice is flawless, and I love her. So anyway, my ideal top 16 would be, I didn't even know. Girls, definitely Melanie Amaro, Rachel Crow, Caitlin Cook, and surprisingly Simone Battle. I think the other girls failed to impress, and she seems to be improving, so... with the boys, Chris Rene, Marcus Canty, Brennin Hunt, and, I don't know, maybe Nick Voss for some comic relief, since I'm not really crazy about the other guys. With the over 30s, Krista Collins, Elaine Gibbs, James Kinney, and I don't care about the fourth one, Leroy Bell, Stacey Francis, who cares. And with the groups, Lakota Rain, The Answer, the Brewer Boys, and like I said, I don't care about the other group. Maybe Illusion Confusion, so we can finally hear what they sound like. So anyway, Tuesday night, we will have the top 16 revealed, and then next Tuesday night, they will be performing, and then after that, back to Wednesday and Thursday. The whole schedule is just very confusing. You can't get people to watch if they have to chase you down. Anyway, I'll see you folks Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.